So when I was in what you would call middle school, we just have secondary school where I grew up. And so when I was in secondary school, I was very quiet in class. I was one of the quieter ones. And so people would all put their hands up and they would answer very quickly. And I wouldn't, even though I knew the answer to the question. And then one day, I remember going home and I told my mother that, I was really tired of people answering the wrong answer. And she said, well, what are you going to do about it? So I said, okay. So I went back to school and I started to put my hand up because then I didn't have to hear all these wrong answers. And it wasn't to be arrogant or anything. It was just, here's a quiet person who realizes that perhaps if I don't do something, that I'm not going to change my behavior. So I'm responsible for that. And if I have a problem with hearing what I'm hearing, perhaps I need to address that. And so then I continued to work on that being perhaps a little more shy. Not so much introverted. I think I'm one of those who is in the middle. I'm equally happy at home as I am out in social occasions. But I think I had to work on that. And so I did a lot of different things. I pushed myself to introduce myself first to other people. Even as a teenager, I took a Dale Carnegie course in public speaking, and that's very unnerving at 16 to stand on a stage and talk through this whole course. So we did that. I did that. I did all kinds of different things to push myself out there. And I became more and more comfortable with it. And then I also realized that you have to be yourself. I'm not necessarily going to be the most exuberant person in the room, but at the same time, I will be the person who is just genuinely happy to see people and very comfortable with that. So in terms of that particular communication skill, I had to work on that. And I did work on it for quite a while, and I became more and more comfortable. So now I'm comfortable in front of the classroom presenting, and even growing to be comfortable in front of this camera. And sometimes you have to do that. You have to push yourself outside your comfort zone. And then I realized that maybe I was more comfortable with it than I thought. But sometimes things are more intimidating when you anticipate it that way than when you actually do it. So the anticipation is more scary than the actual thing. And so I wish more students would remember that answering that one little question may push you a little bit further and a little bit further. Yeah.